Welcome to the Final Whistle, everybody. The Final Whistle, where you get your football conversations. I'm Matt Caddell. Got the one and only Chris James,
What's going on, people?
And Justin Riley, the Bama Standard. How are y'all today?
Man, doing all right. I got lost in a portal, but glad to make my way back here to be with you guys tonight.
Yeah, man, I was in the line in the portal and I saw it was about 1,000 plus in front of me, so I just turned around.
I tapped in the portal, then I was like, this is not how real life is, so let me get back out a little bit. You can hop in the portal.
I saw some of those names. I was like, this can't be life. I can't compete, man. Let me go back home, man.
Yeah. Portal.
Go back to workout tomorrow. You went in the portal. You saw some of those names. Just like, oh, heck no, man. Let me go back to workout tomorrow.
Do some of these schools even have a roster anymore? I mean, you look at Texas A&M. I think they're up to 17 names in the portal right now. Of course, Bama's not too far away. It's just unreal. And some names you see coming out, like a Devin Leary from North Carolina State in the portal.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there's
Jaheim Bell. Circle that name. That's the one I want.
Yeah, I want Bell, and I want
Balanced to Georgia. That's a bad man.
Yeah,
we need him in Tuscaloosa. Whatever you do, do something. We got to get that kid to Tuscaloosa, man.
I heard Grimes from North Carolina, the cornerback, not bad either.
Oh yeah, Grimes. But man, we're loaded, man. If Rich come back, Kool-Aid and Rich, baby, we good at corner, man. We got Earl Little Jr.
Earl Little,
Kool-Aid, Rich. We got Jaleel Hurley coming in, man. We're ready, man.
Jaleel Hurley is coming in, a grown man. Jaleel Hurley's on loan to us from the NFL.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, we got a lot to talk about. It's the off season, but it doesn't really feel like it, right? I mean, we got so much stuff going on. First and foremost, the thing is on the top of our minds right now. Bama got snubbed from the college football playoff, and I've been waiting to hear what you guys have to say about it. Did we get screwed? Was it dead on? This is the first time we've been talking here, other than going back and forth during game day. How you feeling, guys?
Well, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, you want me to go first, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm 50-50. I'm still, hurt, that we didn't get in. I was hoping, praying, campaigning. I posted just about every tweet there was Saturday night. Just hoping, trying to get good energy. RTR, baby, Dean Cloud. Yeah, but it is what it is. I think Alabama had a case. Everything had to go right, in which from a chaotic standpoint, everything actually did. And we didn't get in, but Alabama had a legitimate case to be in. I would love to have seen Bama in, but it is what it is. Now that Bama's not in, it's like it doesn't have that same shininess to it, that oh man, Bama's in it. It's like Tiger Woods being in a golf tournament. It's like going to a tennis tournament, go to watch Serena. Not having Bama in it, you still kind of lose some of that, that shininess, that luster. But I think it's going to be a pretty good playoff. But yeah, I'm still kind of disappointed Bama didn't get in. But I just want the Tide to make the most of what they, versus Kansas State. I need them to go out there and prove a point. So.
Okay. Chris, do you kind of mirror what he's saying, or do you kind of have a different take? What?
I think that the committee, they probably got the 4 teams right, but I'm thinking it was the order was wrong, because that's the first time I ever heard of a team losing and not dropping.
Yeah, that was odd to me.
Just to avoid, I feel like Bama got sacrificed just to avoid an Ohio State
Michigan rematch,
and they kind of, but we did it to ourselves. LSU, we had no business losing to LSU. Mm-hmm. We had no business losing in Knoxville. I mean, all those penalties, we did it to ourselves. But at the end of the day, I mean, I knew it was going to be kind of rough to have a 2-loss team in there, but I just didn't like the order. I just felt like the committee sent a bad message. Like, it's okay to lose your conference championship, and not have to pay the consequences, because everybody that's lost dropped, but TCU. There's no justification for that.
I was surprised Michigan wasn't number 1 after they beat Ohio State. I mean, to me, that's a top 3 matchup, was top 5 matchup at the time. You know, I'm surprised
that 2 and 3.
I'm surprised that win did not catapult Michigan number 1 and put Georgia at 2, but it is what it is.
Well, it's kind of, I think they still have in the back of their mind how bad Georgia beat up on Michigan last year. And it's kind of like somebody's driving to the hole and somebody slaps them. Get that mess out of here. And I'm putting that back in here. And you see they're not ready for them. So I think they probably think that Michigan isn't, you know, we saw it last year. So that's at the back of their mind, the beat down that Georgia gave them last year. So that's my line of thinking.
Yeah, in terms of getting the best, most talented teams in, you know, that's one of the driving forces that, you know, I've been kind of going on, especially leading up to this selection. And I thought if that was what the case, then Alabama, without a shadow of a doubt, will be put in, even with 2 losses. You know, Coach Saban made an excellent point Saturday during the Big Ten championship that if Vegas were to put Alabama against any of the top 4 teams, who would be favored? You know, excellent point. The answer is Alabama. Alabama would probably be 2 touchdown favorite against a few teams, definitely TCU. So I kind of felt like that was to our advantage, but clearly it wasn't. The biggest factor in all this was we had those 2 losses. This is one of those things you can't sweep under the rug. You can't look past. We didn't have that significant win. Ohio State, they did get skull drugged by Michigan without a shadow of a doubt at home. That is kind of a no-no, but they had a top 10 win. They beat Penn State. Our quality wins, if you want to call it that, Ole Miss, Texas, Mississippi State.
Yeah, I think the strength of the schedule hurt us, our strength of schedule, because everybody we played, we didn't have really any good wins with Arkansas falling off, with Ole Miss falling off. That kind of played against us.
Yeah, and I think also they changed the rules when it comes to Bama. It's like when Bama plays these guys are ranked. But then after Bama plays them, they go from not being ranked or they drop off tremendously. So I think the committee, if they're going to go to the 12 team or whatever, that they need to go and look at when did they play these guys and when they were ranked at that moment. You know, that's how I think they should view it instead of waiting to the playoff rankings come out.
And the unfortunate thing for us is we play in the SEC. We beat each other up. So we may have a few guys or few teams in the top 10, and we may be the large makeup of the top 20. But, you know, towards mid of the season, we've already beat up on each other and teams have been sacrificed. So the records aren't what they started out to be. You know, Arkansas, like you said, they imploded even when KJ Jefferson was back. He had a lot of health issues this year. Ole Miss, which looked very good and played us to the wire, I felt like when they lost to us, that kind of sealed it for them. They didn't really put forth anything after that. But then again, you could argue the whole Lane Kiffin distraction probably led to some of that. But they imploded. They got boat raced by Arkansas on the road and then turned around against Mississippi State and just laid an absolute egg. So didn't look good at all. And the biggest thing that I look at is the egg on our face, losing to LSU. I can take Tennessee. I can somewhat explain that loss, but losing to a LSU team that quite honestly were phonies. They were phonies. And because you saw what they did. They lost to a 4-7 Texas A&M team and then got actually ran out the building by Georgia in the SEC championship. You know, they revealed who they truly were. We should have ran them out of their own building when we played them in Baton Rouge. There is no reason why that game should have been close, let alone lost.
Especially coming off a bye week, and you know that's like the biggest game. I mean, we just looked like we didn't practice the week before. Like our coordinators had no game plan. We were soft. Looked like we weren't into it. I mean, it's just frustrating. You can't, you know, come out there and play that poorly and have bad play calling and do it all in Baton Rouge. It's just I'm sorry. It's just not. I think that was the most frustrated I know I've been watching the Bama game, because you would think coming off a bye week, we would have ironed out a lot of the little things that were hindering us, having a game plan, putting a spy on a quarterback. The LSU offense was so easy to game plan, to defend, but we made it so difficult. So, I mean, I'm going to let Chris go because I can go
point blank. Point blank, man, like that was the worst I've seen us coming off of a bye week. The worst I've seen us look coming off a bye week. It was like inexplicable, man. That didn't make any sense at all for us to look that bad. That pedestrian. And but the thing about it, against Auburn, it looks like it was a completely different play caller, and even though the defense still stunk it up, because no reason for us to give up 300 yards rushing. Period. To anybody, not let alone Auburn, anybody. Period. And, so it would have been interesting to see the adjustments we would have made if we'd have got in the playoffs. And it also would have been interesting to see if some of these same guys would have hit the portal.
Yeah, I think some would
have thought, yeah. And then I think Saban made some tough decisions too.
Yeah, but
he had some meetings, some come to Jesus meetings.
Yeah,
and the statement was made that going into the playoff decision that we were playing arguably our best ball the entire year. Yeah, against Auburn. Yeah, offensively you can say that. No argument here from me. But the ultimate question is, why weren't we playing that way the entire season? Why wasn't our give a damn button turned all the way up? Well, if it was, we're not having this conversation right now.
Well, then again, I think that period that Bryce was hurt, when he was injured, notice we didn't take any shots downfield those games. He was hurt. He was hurt more than what was led on. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't take any shots. Like we weren't even he had a healthy Tyler Harrell on the sideline, because I don't think Bryce would have been able to get it to him. Because in Bond, when it worked in the past when we took shots, but once he got hurt, that deep game was non-existent.
Then adjust the offense to fit what you're having to work with. But the other side of it is that I look at is somebody besides Bryce Young step up, help him out.
Or if Bryce can't practice, go with the quarterbacks that have been practicing. Because I was hearing a lot about Ty Simpson getting a lot of the ones reps with the offense. And shoot, if that's the case, I'm a big proponent. I'm a guy. Chris is a coach. We've all kind of got that little coaching, got the coaching experience. If a guy's not practicing, if you can't practice majority of the week for me, I'm not going to play, because that's going to throw off the rest of the team. So, if Bryce was not able to play, maybe we go with the Milroe or Simpson, during that stretch, regardless of who we playing, and let's make a game plan around those guys. And, I think if we did that versus LSU, might have had a better opportunity to pull that game out, But you live and you learn. We're sitting here going to the Sugar Bowl, so
I definitely want to see Ty Simpson, see what he's made of.
Yeah,
I think this is my take. I know this is a crazy take. If Bill O'Brien comes back next year, to me, that's a sign that Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback.
Agreed. You noticed that when Ty came in, the brief moments he did, all of a sudden you started to see the offense change. You started to see a little bit of innovativeness, but he didn't do that for Milroe.
He didn't. I don't think he's comfortable with
style.
But a good offensive coordinator finds a way to adapt and to make things work, like Lane Kiffin did with Jalen Hurts.
Well, he's not good, so
he's not.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. To earn your paycheck, you got to be able to adapt, and he's not good, like you said. He's the Josh McDaniels of.
I mean, he's solid. Yeah, he's solid, but he's not.
He's mid.
Not upper echelon.
I think he's always, he's been a coach for so long. He's want to do it his way, and I think he's more comfortable. He's kind of groomed Ty Simpson ever since he came into college. He's know his strengths. I think he kind of knows what type of plays work with him, because when Ty came in the game, it's jet sweeps, quick game, pistol, I formation. Everybody's like, oh, where is this coming? And actually, we were more aggressive with Ty Simpson. I'm like, where is this aggressive Bill O'Brien coming from? When Ty comes in. So, I think I like Ty Simpson a lot. I like Milroe as well, but I think regardless, we're gonna have to have somebody, whoever that next OC is. A, he's gonna have to be a quarterback's coach, and B, he's gonna have to be an offensive genius. And I hope he gets somebody from the college ranks. Maybe somebody. I like Tulane's offensive coordinator. That's just my take. I think he's a really good OC. I don't know. Who are some other guys y'all like from the college?
Garrett Riley.
I like Little Riley.
I love Garrett Riley. Who's got a decent offensive coordinator? Who? I like Kansas OC, and I like Kansas.
Yeah. I think those guys came from Whitewater. I think, wasn't it Wisconsin Whitewater? They came from up that way. One of those powerhouse type school.
We're gonna say Chris. Sorry.
I like I like Kansas OC. I like the way that Washington was very impressive with Penix this year.
I'll throw
all those West Coast teams, man. UCLA looked good offensively.
Yeah.
I'll even go so far as to throw Charlie Weiss Jr. in there. I like what he's doing.
Where's he at?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah. But I guess to kind of wrap up the playoffs discussion, we'll hit Jim McEwen here. Suckey's strength of schedule was way lower than ours, but they were looking for reasons to keep us out, and we provided them. Yeah, the fact of the matter is Alabama had the 8th ranked strength of schedule, whereas the top 4 of the college football playoffs, I think the hardest was 35, and then next to them was 34. So not all that impressive. But then again, like I said, guys, the big egg on the face is 2 losses. If it's one loss, we're not having this conversation or debate. I think there's no debate that Alabama gets ahead.
Screw up my tongue, man. That LSU takes
up your tongue. Yeah.
That's one game.
Corn dogs, man.
I know I sound like a broken record, but that's the one game I've never been so furious watching the Bama game. It just brings it.
I think that's the first time since that Mississippi State loss back in 2007.
I've tried to forget that.
That may have been the last time I was as furious as I was. Because kick 6, let me tell you the thing about kick 6. A lot of people say that was the most heartbroken they've been as a fan. But me, I told my mom, I was watching the game with my mom, and I said, I don't like the way this game is going. I said, if we lose this game, we deserve to lose. I said, because we did everything that game. Like, if we were playing good and lose, that's heartbreaking. But when we were playing crappy, I'm like, we deserve to lose. I mean, that's just the coaching me. Like, my high school team. We lose, play crappy. I mean, we deserve to lose. And that's just how I felt like that kick 6. We deserve to lose. The LSU game, we deserve to lose. And
then to your point, like, Alabama, we were winning games, but we were looking crappy, we had plenty of penalties. Like, it was bad play calling. It was very stressful as a Bama fan this year watching Bama play.
No screens until what game was that we tried to screen? Was it LSU when we tried our first screen, or was it Auburn?
Austin P.
Austin P. It was one game we tried our first screen that I saw. I was like, what the hell this been the last 2 years? And it didn't work.
Imagine that. But
why are we talking about the playoffs? Over under. How many guys opt out the bowl game? I'm sitting line at 2.
You want to?
Well, the opt-outs already happened through the transfer portal. So
you got that, but then again, you still have some upperclassmen who are looking at NFL future that may be debating. If y'all want to go ahead and hit this now, I mean, I'll go ahead and say I'm going to say maybe. I think they play. I think everybody plays, even Bryce, even Will. I have
I think they're playing. I think they're playing too, and I think what's important for Alabama, because it's Alabama and it's such a draw. Like as you can see with the whole Bama debate, Alabama football is college football. No matter what people want to say, I know Georgia's riding good and Michigan's doing that. TCU's a great story. None of that matters, and it was evident. Alabama was not even playing a game Saturday, but yet they were trending They were the number one topic of conversation for 2 days, even after the playoffs.
You're right.
It's like nobody's talking about the playoffs. Everybody's saying, "Oh, well, did Alabama deserve it?" Because Alabama is college football. Like no matter what, even you go on your Twitter, you look at different fan pages. All they care about is Alabama and how they measure it against Alabama.
We're the evil empire, man. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So,
and it also, it disproves this theory by every fan base that is against us, saying the dynasty is over, Saban's reign is done. If it was truly over and truly done, then we wouldn't have been the trending topic. We wouldn't have been in the conversation for the playoff committee up until the final hour. If we were done, it would have been done a long time ago, but that's not the case at all. We're still relevant. We're still getting number one classes. Next season, we're probably going to be ranked in the top 5, maybe even number 1. We'll have players in every preseason award watch list. So that's not a sign of the end. It's just a sign of we're taking a timeout, but we'll be back to finish this thing.
I have a solution. Let's just pull a 2020, man, and just bring Bryce and Will back. Just get them to come back next year like Najee, those guys did. I'm down for y'all. Down for it? I'm
down.
Because I know Bryce doesn't want to go to Houston. Doesn't want to go to Texas. I know where I'll be going to school, bro. Going back to school.
Bryce, we'll talk about the NFL draft. My thoughts, I do see them going. I think Bryce might be doing a little jockeying behind the scenes, maybe pulling a little Eli Manning type stuff behind the scenes. Because I think it's going to come down to, I think he's looking at NFL. I think he's looking for somebody, looking at the successful teams. You got to have a good fit. You got to have a good system, and you got to have offensive that, exploits your strengths. So I don't know if you're going to get that with Lovie Smith. I think, they get rid of Lovie Smith and try to go after, a Bieniemy or D'Amico Ryans or
Saints, baby, Saints. Just perfect shoe in.
Saints, but they got to get in the first round. For Saints, got to get in the first round.
But the Saints won't ever draft it.
Taysom Hill. Let's just package some guys. Michael Thomas, who's never gonna play again.
That's what they're gonna have to do. That's what they're gonna have to do. Because if I look at the draft order, I think it's Houston. I just took a shot of it. Hold on, let me pull it up. It's Houston, Chicago Bears, number 2. So that's probably where Will Anderson going. Because they got rid of Robert Quinn. They traded him away. And Seattle Seahawks, number 3. And
man, they got a winning record.
Yeah, and Detroit Lions, number 4. And that's where I see like a Bryce really trying to. I think Detroit let it known that they wanted Bryce last year when they drafted Jameson Williams, if that makes sense.
Eye candy. That's right. I got you.
Yeah.
Houston might have too when they drafted Mechie second round, so you never know.
You never know.
Excellent points, guys. But let's go ahead and start talking about the mass exodus of Bama players in the portal. Let me go ahead and read the names out to y'all. Javion Cohen, Damian George, Tanner Bowles, Tommy Brockemeyer, JoJo Earl, Trayshawn Holden, Christian Leary, Kyrie Jackson, and Jack Martin. For those of you who don't know who Jack Martin is, he was going to be the next kicker once Will Reichard leaves. And hey, there wasn't going to be any drop off with Martin. He's solid, but he's left. Listen, guys.
Early in the year, right?
October.
I know we got one coming in, but isn't Will coming back another year? I heard rumors swirling that Will was going to come back another year.
Yeah, it's pointing towards that he's going to use his COVID year and come back. Yeah, hey, I would love it because I know we do have a kicker coming in this recruiting class.
Boy, he can boot it, brother. He can boot it, man. Hey, but think about it, man. You know why those linemen left? Do you see that class is coming in with Miles McVay?
Yes.
All of those guys, man. Those are dogs, man. A couple of those guys might play early, brother.
Can I give a take too, by the way? And I know I'm on Twitter. I'm deep in Twitter. And I know Justin, you are. Chris, you are. The doom and gloom Bama fans, like I love you all, but it's not the end of the world. Like just because guys are going in the portal, that's just the name of college football. Like it is what it is.
It's
like
age.
You look at the linemen, like if you're just focusing on doom and gloom, you're just looking at it one-sided. You got to look at what we got coming in. We got a Miles McVay, a Roar. Like we got so many dogs coming in. Like
Alois Alandine.
we're upgrading in a lot of positions, and I was telling Justin earlier, I value recruits more so than portal guys. You know, unless your name
is James Williams,
unless it's Jameson Williams or Jahmyr Gibbs.
The exceptions, not the rules.
Yeah.
So we only go on certain guys. That's why I think Jaheim Bell will be in Crimson next year.
Yeah. I like Jaheim Bell, that tight end. That would be nice.
Yeah, the offensive line, this group, they get it now. They understand the assignment. You had Miles McVay last week saying that first snap, he wants to take on Will Anderson head-to-head. He wants to take on Dallas Turner head-to-head. He's not being arrogant or cocky. He wants best on best. He wants to be able to grow and prove himself by going against the number one dude. That tells me something.
Let me tell you, man, left tackle, I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there next year. Elijah Pritchett from Carver Columbus High School in Columbus, Georgia. I was at the third round playoff game with my high school Doherty, my high school last year. They played Carver, and seeing that kid, man, he was the most physically impressive offensive lineman I've ever seen in high school.
What, Chris Samuels?
Somebody in high school. In high school, this kid, like, he was shredded. He was every bit of 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", 300 pounds, no body fat, flat stomach, shredded. Like his being and his movement. I was like, but his coaches, I played high school ball with his coaches, with his head coach's office coordinator. They told me he came in like 220 pounds. So that weight, he wasn't a naturally big guy. He was somebody that kind of grew into his body. So I can understand that type of build and flexibility, but I'm telling you, man, he's the next great left tackle at Bama. And I think that's why Brockemeyer transferred and Kite transferred out, because they saw the writing on the wall. Elijah
Yeah, Kite. The thing is, there's really no surprises in these names. I think maybe Cohen. Cohen may have been the guy that
JoJo was the one surprised me early.
Yeah.
JoJo, well, to me, JoJo Earl, JoJo, he was surprising, but Trayshawn Holden, I'm like, you just caught Pat.
I had a feeling he tried to leave last year, didn't he?
I don't know. I'm like, you had opportunities. The problem is not the team, it's your hands. Like, I'm sorry.
And key times.
Like, you need to put some more hands. Like, I hate to be talked bad about guys, but like, you've had so many opportunities to make plays and maximize your opportunity in games, and you just drop the ball.
Plays.
But then you're so inconsistent. Like I'm like, bro, come on. It was one game. It was a couple of games. You just drop after drop after drop. I'm like, bro.
Was it Texas? Was it the Texas game? What game was
I
that?
think it was a couple of games. But
Tennessee to me was the most notable. It was against
Tennessee. He was dropping left and right. I was like,
at critical moments, and had he caught some of those balls, it probably would have changed the trajectory of the game.
Yeah,
but I heard this too. I know I'm kind of jumping everywhere. I heard this too that, maybe Saban's took this as an opportunity to trim the fat on the roster. Like, guys not practice. I heard some of these guys didn't want to practice or, kind of do the things to be successful. So, maybe I look at it as an opportunity that Coach Saban's probably getting rid of some of the the bad eggs or bad seeds, to kind of move forward and focus on these young guys who are hungry and ready to play. So
yeah, and
not all doom out there, Bama fans.
Right. And it's very
right on the wall.
I think your point is kind of being proven towards the later part of the season and then wide receiver groups, because you started seeing more targets to Kendrick Law. You started seeing more targets to Isaiah Bond. You start seeing, Shaz Preston appearances. And, of course, Kobe Prince is already there, but they were getting more looks. So that kind of tells me, you know what, I'm ready to start trusting these guys and start doing something with them. And these other guys haven't joined the party up to this point. So it's time to start letting guys who do want it get their shot. And it's going to pay off in dividends. I just wish we could have seen more of Amari Black. That's the only kind of, wish I had that it wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think Saban's going to get it ironed out. I think Saban, if I could talk to Coach Saban, I say, Saban, you need to clear out about you need to get rid of most of your analysts, because obviously if you're going to get analysts, you need to get former players that kind of know Bama.
He has the wrong students.
Yeah,
he has the wrong students. The ones that nobody.
Yeah, you gotta get.
You got the wrong students, man. You had 3 choices, and 2 of them were great choices. You got the wrong one.
Yeah.
That's
what I gotta give credit to Shane Beamer. Like Beamer, he comes from, everybody knows the Beamer family and they know good coaching. So his staff was gonna be on point. I need Saban to
I love that dude, man. I need
Saban to make sure to use his name, Saban, and make sure he gets good guys that are, up and coming, and not getting guys that know somebody's, uncle, or you know what I'm saying. He needs to get good football coaches. Because that's my advice. I would tell him, and I would tell him to get college guys that are developers and talent. And that I know he wants to get good recruiters, but if you can get some guys in there that can really develop the talent, some good football minds in the in your think tank group. Like I said, I'm high on Tulane's offensive coordinator. I watched them a couple times. I'm like, man, this guy gets it. He plays matchups. He's aggressive. It's just mismatches out the wazoo. And I can only imagine with all the talent he would have at Alabama what he would do. So I think I keep saying Tulane. I keep saying going as a college OC, because I think that's the route you need to go. I think we've had our hands in the NFL OC route, but I think it's time to get somebody, maybe that's like a D2 or D3 or a Tulane OC, somebody who has college experience and just can really be creative and really maximize the offense. Sort of like kind of what he did with Malcolm Wayne back in the day. He took him from Fresno State and brought him to Alabama, and he did wonders. So
absolutely. Now, guys, go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. We have quite enough bit of people in the chat, so I fully expect the amount of people in the chat to equal the amount of likes. And if you hadn't subscribed, shame on you, but go ahead and do that. And if you're in the live chat, let yourself be heard. But now, guys, we don't have the playoff, but we do have the Sugar Bowl. Interesting matchup. I think a lot of Alabama fans became very familiar with our opponent, Kansas State, this past Saturday, because we were cheering pretty hard. If you hadn't really had a chance to learn about Kansas State, they are a very well-coached team. They actually have a guy that could be the equivalent of Nick Saban, but at the FCS ranks. He was the guy responsible for all those national championships for North Dakota State. That's Chris Kleiman. This guy can coach. He's got a blue-collar team. Guys aren't going to quit. They're rough. They're tough. They're not flashy, but they find a way to get it done. A couple of guys of note to kind of pay attention to leading off.
The running back,
Deuce Vaughn, is one of the nation's leaders. Everybody talks about Bijan Robinson, but they seem to forget that Deuce Vaughn was that dude too. Over 1,400 yards. And 8 touchdowns. He's only 5'6", 176 pounds, guys. Getting it done. He can run between tackles, which is crazy for his size. He is a matchup nightmare, especially if he's out wide. He's in space. but also to kind of spell him. This kind of reminds me of our backfield. Jameer Gibbs, Jace McClellan. They got a guy like Jace McClellan as well. DJ Giddens, physical, between the tackles kind of guy, will hit you in the mouth. Got a good receiver group. They're not flashy, but they run excellent routes. They are very fundamentally sound. Malik Knowles, Cade Warner. Yes, that name should sound familiar. That's Kurt Warner's son. AJ Garcia, a guy who will go to the high point and fight you for that ball. Good team offensively. They got a good quarterback too, and Will Howard. When Adrian Martinez went down, he came in. They didn't skip a beat. He's a good quarterback. Now, he can be erratic at times, and he can hold on to the ball too long, which can play into our favor, especially with our edge rushers. But, guys, what do you think of this Kansas State offensive team?
Chris, you're on mute.
And he's back on. There you
go. That offense is it was a thing of beauty to watch against TCU. I really enjoyed it. I like the quarterback Howard. He's a big kid who's a better passer than Martinez. That Deuce Vaughn is that guy. I love him to death. Receiver, I can't think of his name, number 4, the tall kid. He returned kickoffs too. I like him a lot. I think we can keep their receivers in check. They're not very fast. They're skilled. They catch the ball. I think we can. I think we can neutralize. It's like he did such a good job of what he has to work with. Because once he started to get transfers and recruits in, they're going to be a whole lot more dangerous than what they are now. It's like he's done a hell of a job with the roster because anybody couldn't have won like that with that roster.
And that's I like that. That's a good coach. And I was big on their I was watching their offensive coordinator call plays, and he's Klein. He's a good guy. I think he played
Colin Klein, the dog.
Yeah, he played quarterback. I think
2012 Heisman Trophy finalist. Actually,
if I'm saying,
Colin Klein was a dog, man, back in the day.
Listen, if I'm saying after the game, I might be like, hey, you want to be an OC at Alabama? I can pay.
He loves K-State too much, man. He loves K-State too much.
But I was watching him like he plays matchups. The offense is kind of simple. I'm trying to think how they are. Remind me of equivalent of the SEC. Kind of remind me of a Mississippi State almost, where they can threat you, but it's more like a Mississippi State / Arkansas. Kind of type team where
it's kind of like you put an Ole Miss in there too.
And the Ole Miss, they're kind of all in the same.
So they run the ball.
Yeah, they run the ball. We're gonna have to stop the run. They play disciplined defense. We know they're gonna get there. We're gonna get their best shots.
They're gonna bring it.
They're gonna bring it. They do have some dudes on the defensive side of the ball. Austin Moore at linebacker. They got a man at defensive end. Forgive me if I butcher this name because I am from Mississippi initially, but it's Felix Anudike Uzoma. That dude is – I want to check his birth certificate. I swear he's 25 or 30 years old because he sure does look like it. They got a good defensive back in Ikoy Boydo. He can match up with anybody.
Yes.
They are – a good defense, but they're not consistent, and they don't do well in space. They don't, and they arm tackle. So this is an opportunity, Bill O'Brien, to get our wide receivers schemed to have a breakout game against this defense because it's set up to allow us to do something.
That's all TCU did all night.
Do what?
That's all TCU did, man.
Listen, I
over the top. I was licking my chops when I heard, and I thought back to we got K-State, and I thought about it.
I think, like I said earlier, I think this is a great opportunity for Alabama and some players on that team to really. That's why I don't think they're going to opt out because I think they're like, we want to go out there and show them how good we really are, and that the committee really messed up. And I think they're going to go out there and really try, to separate themselves from, okay, this guy's really elite. Like Bryce is going to try to, if he, plays, I think he's going to try to go for like 6 touchdowns at the minimum. because I think Bryce is want to separate himself from a CJ Stroud. I think Will Anderson's going to go out there and execute. You look at a Brian Branch being snubbed on the first team All-SEC team, which is blasphemous. I think you look at a Byron Young, guys who can maybe sneak in that, Byron Young balls out this game and then in the Senior Bowl, he could easily sneak somewhere, early second, late first in the first round. So, like I said, I think Bama needs to make a statement, put up like 60, 70 points, and really be the talk of college football because they're already the talk of college football, and just go out there and be dominant.
Yeah, and one of the things I did notice about the defense, too, it had golden-like tendencies because they didn't seem to make adjustments very well. Case in point, Duggan, an entire drive, just ran to the left side.
No spy or nothing. I said,
no spy.
Pete's brother? Is that Pete's brother that's coordinating? That must be a golden.
Bro, they were saying golden called the defense. I was like, oh, my gosh. Like,
golden called the defense.
But yeah, we'll definitely talk about this as it gets closer, guys. Tide Hoops this weekend's got another big time matchup, another number one in the nation team looking at our crimson and white elite play.
Guard.
Listen,
6'2".
How you feeling? Because I don't think anybody in the country is going to be more tournament ready than Alabama, just based on the opponents that we are getting right out of the gate.
We're not playing, man. Duke's playing a pretty good schedule too, but ours tonight. But man, like, dude, Gonzaga,
Memphis.
Yeah, Gonzaga, Memphis playing good. They look like Memphis from last year almost. Houston, come on, man. North Carolina, like Michigan State.
UConn. Like we've already played a tough regular season already. So
I think we'll get UConn again. I think it's going to be a different outcome, and it's going to be in our favor this time.
I'm telling you, when Dominique Welsh comes, man, I'm telling you, I've been saying it. When Don Welsh comes, he's that missing piece to us being like, whoa.
But you gotta love the pieces we have. Clowney, SEC Player of the Week. Miller, Bediako, that's my guy. Sears.
And look, let's talk about Sears for a minute, man. Dude, I like Jaden Shackelford, but Sears is a massive upgrade.
Man, he's so nasty with it. His IQ is next level. Oh my gosh.
Sears he surprised me. I knew he was good at Ohio, but I was like, maybe that's some MAC competition. And I thought maybe he'd come in averaging, scoring 10, 11. This buddy giving you the same thing he was doing in the MAC.
No, he wants lottery. That's what he's saying right now.
Oh, I thought he was over here.
And it's crazy, the first team, and then you look on the bench looks like a first team. We have depth. It's amazing to say that, and I keep forgetting that Javon Quinley is not a starter either. We're that good, but definitely need that big. What's that?
Quinley, because Quinley is better when he gets thrown into the game
as opposed to
starting. Sears is great to start because he gets hot really quick, and then you bring a change up with Quinterly and Bradley, man. Bradley is so doggone tough at the rim, man. That kid is gonna be. He kind of reminds me of a young Baron Davis, almost. Like as far as how strong he is at point guard, and like how he can just finish, man. And the one person that shocked me Saturday, I never saw it coming, was Burnett. That dunk he did.
Oh man, he's starting to get back healthy.
I said.
He's starting to get back healthy. Did you see Richard?
McDonald's All-American came out of him. I was looking at this kid. I was like, I like him, but McDonald's All-American. And then he yammed that. And I was like, oh, I see why.
He's starting to get back healthy, bro.
Oh man, he kind of. You want me to tell you who he reminds me of?
Who?
Andrew Steele.
Oh.
You remember how Andrew was a
Kind of a role player, can do it all. Yeah.
He reminds me of Andrew Steele.
A guy who does not get enough praises for what he contributed when he was at Bama.
Steele.
I got a question. I got a question for Chris. You know, this is the final Wilson. Hit that like, subscribe, fans. Keep those comments coming. If you were to compare this Alabama basketball team to NBA team, who would you compare them to currently?
This team right here?
Yeah.
I see a couple. Like I see kind of like a Pacers, Indiana Pacers, kind of like a Pelicans.
I see a Pelicans. I see a Utah Jazz type.
Did you see what Indiana did to Golden State last night?
I'm quite sure.
Oh man, like they couldn't do nothing with them, man. And it's like they have such a young team, man, and they rotate. Like teams, like if your bench is solid, man, you're gonna win a lot of games. That's in college. That's in the NBA. Your bench is solid, man, and that's what Alabama has. Alabama can literally go from 1 to 12.
Well,
and it doesn't matter. Just pick 5. All right, y'all 5 go out there.
Yeah. And we got a coach that
I love that dude. Nate Oates,
man. Nate
I'm gonna cry if he ever retire or leave, man.
I'm gonna be boohooing.
Nate, take me with you.
I love Nate Oates, man. I just love him.
More than Mark Gottfried, though. No kidding.
Oh, Mark was my guy, man. Mark was cool, man. Mark was a good dude, man. I actually liked him.
Yeah, and it's a shame that his squad with Erwin Dudley, Rod Grizzard, and Mo Williams didn't get a title.
Man, that one when he had Jermichael Green and Tony Mitchell. Oh man,
gosh, Tony Mitchell was so underrated.
Tony Mitchell was.
So are we picking the Tide to roll this Saturday before we move on to our next?
Let me tell you,
it'll be a dog fight.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. If we keep it under, I'm gonna set it at 13. If we keep it under 13 turnovers, we win.
Okay.
We keep it under 13.
Matt?
If we have 16, 17, 18 again, Houston gonna kick our tail. I'm like, they ain't gonna shoot. I'm
gonna roll. What are you gonna say, Chris?
We take care of the ball, we win. We're gonna upset, we take care of the ball. But if we don't, we're gonna get our tail kicked.
I think this game's gonna get chippy. I think it's gonna be a lot of emotions. And I think these guys are gonna have to stay locked in, stay focused, not let the emotions, kind of get into them. They're going into a hostile environment. Young guys, they don't need to have any anxiety.
This is basketball. We don't do that in basketball.
Yeah, but
that's fine, man, because those guys went on a foreign tour and played some national teams.
Yeah,
other countries, grown men. Man, let me tell you, Brandon Miller is the calm to the storm, bro.
Yeah, he's just a hoop. You ever seen him? One thing I like about Brandon Miller, he's just a hooper. You ever see a guy and you're like, man, he got it. Like
Kennedy Winston before his knee injury.
Bro, he's so smooth. Like he's so smooth.
Before his knee injury.
Bro, he's just so nasty, bro.
He reminds me of a healthy T-Mac.
Tracy McGrady.
Dang.
McGrady, a young McGrady. And I also could see a little Joe Johnson in him. Arkansas Joe. Not Atlanta Hawks Joe.
Yeah.
Arkansas Joe.
Came to Coleman Coliseum, dropped 40 on us. You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that, Riley, when he came and dropped 40 on us?
I remember. I don't want to.
I'm sitting there courtside like this. Man, who is this 6'8" dude, man, just doing all this, just making us look stupid? He came to Coleman and gave us a 40-piece, man, like, it was a 40-piece, man.
Wow.
All right.
That was the best performance I've seen college-wise with my 2 eyes. I kind of can see a Jason Tatum too.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a Tatum, Brown, a little Ingram. I can see. He might not have the height like a Brandon Ingram, but like
he's actually he might be taller than Ingram. Well, it might be the same height because he's 6'9".
Yeah, I mean
6'9".
He just
I thought it was Ingram, about 6'9".
I think so. He's just a stretch scorer that I really like, man. I think his game's going to elevate a lot in the NFL.
Oh man, he's going to be a top. He's going to be a top 3,
5 easily.
He's going to go right there where Tatum went. Didn't Tatum go 3 to the Celtics or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be another Tatum. He's gonna be a perennial all-star. But Bradley, dude, I'm telling you, man, Bradley is gonna be kind of like a Bledsoe. He looks like, doesn't he look like one of those old John
Calipari
guards? That's what he reminds me. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He looks like one of those old Calipari guards, man. It looks like he and Griffin are supposed to be playing at Kentucky.
Yeah.
All right. With the time remaining, we're going to go a little bit of a different route. Bama fans, they're in the chat. We're going to stick with college football, but in a different direction. It's time to talk about Coach Prime. There has been quite a reception to Coach Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State.
I got to put on their thick skin.
Yeah, y'all get ready. It's coming, but he's gone to Colorado. As he says, he's looking to elevate. Either you get terminated or elevated.
Right.
And he's looking to be elevated. However, a lot of fans don't see that. They don't see what he's trying to do, and there is a tremendous fallout. Matter of fact, there you are using words like sellout, liar, and a bunch of other things. But, yeah, you're anxious. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Fellas, how are we feeling? Because I'll give my input after y'all. I'm right here in the middle of it around Jackson State fans. I'm seeing a lot of nonsense being carried out on social media, but y'all go ahead.
They are like, they're some of the most ungrateful. Man, Prime brought so much notoriety and so much to that team that had nothing. Nobody was going to Jackson State to play football.
Nobody was thinking about Jackson State. When you think about Jackson State,
football,
you think about the band. You think about the Sonic
band. Boom. Yeah, you know,
like you don't think
people are actually going to the games to watch the team now. They were going to watch the games before Prime. And think about it, like that stuff doing when they didn't have any clean water for all that time. They didn't have any clean water. They having to come out their pockets for a lot of stuff, man. Prime did a lot for those kids, man. He gave a lot of kids a chance to shine, and he loved those kids, man. But at the same time, like, I don't give a crap, man. I don't care. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Dude, $5 million compared to the $300,000 that I may or may not get. You know what I'm saying? $5 million. It's like, I know it's not all about the money, but it's like just everything Colorado has to offer, man. This man wants to elevate, man, because it's like even when he was in the SWAC, people was like, "You're not the SWAC, the Alabama State coach. You're not Ed Robinson Jr. You're not the SWAC. You're not." It's like people hated him.
But yet he donated money to the program so they could have uniforms.
But that dude did nothing but good things for those kids, man. Prime deserved that, man. Like, how many guys you know that's gonna turn something like that down? Like, for example, like our old teammate, Gabe Gardenia, who was a kicker at Alabama.
Yeah.
He was the head coach at Albany State. He just left Albany State to go to Charleston Southern.
Yeah.
Same situation. You leave the HBCU. I mean, where's the outcry for that?
Yeah. Well, it's Deion, and this is my 2 cents. You know, I think Deion, you know, people are upset. It's like Jackson State. A lot of people in the African American community feel like he's, selling out or things like that. But Deion did so much for HBCUs, for Jackson State, for Mississippi Valley State. Like, he was the one voice that really elevated HBCUs to the next level. And, instead of us complaining about it, like, let's carry on that spirit. Like, hopefully somebody, hopefully it inspires like a Jerry Rice or somebody, or some of these NFL guys, to kind of get more involved in the HBCUs and kind of carry that torch, to kind of elevate the HBCUs. Some of these lesser programs, and bring that momentum, that exposure to sponsorships. Don't let it die down, but keep it going. And I think we all as a whole can help community, as a community help HBCUs. We all could do, a lot better to, whether it's funding, giving, things like that to help. But I think, Dion, and this is a point. Did y'all hear that press conference he did, his introduction press conference when he met the players at Colorado?
Yes, saw that.
And it's some things he's like, I'm coming was like the main thing, but he said some points in there. He's like, I'm not here to kick it. I'm looking for killers, and I'm like, oh man, like he's like, I'm looking for guys not only to show up but show out, and I'm like, man, I think, for me, I'm thinking about Bama. I'm like, that's where Alabama's got to get back to. We got to get back to getting guys that are just not about, look at me. Oh, I got this attention on myself, but are you focused on going beyond mediocrity and being the best at everything that you want to do? And I hopefully, Coach Saban, kind of gets back to that. And because we're going to need it in order for us to compete, to get back to being dominant. So that's my 2 cents.
As far as the money situation, people want to argue that he is doing this for the money. In one respect, he actually is, because he's getting his assistant coaches paid.
Right. Even if he wants to.
At Jackson State, he was donating half his check so that the team could actually have the resources that it needed just to do day-to-day operations. He was using his contacts with Under Armour, Delta Airlines, Michael Strahan, Walmart, just to provide them with things they didn't have. And then too, you see in the chat here, Primetime brought TV attention to HBCUs, period. They are relevant on a international scale now. ESPN covering games, College Game Day being on campus at Jackson, Mississippi. It's not a premier place, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not. And for anyone to sit here and say that he was using Jackson State or using them for their resources, how do you?
What resources?
What resources? There were none. Like Chris, like you said, there's not running water. They had to bathe in a pool at the athletic facility. They didn't have running water. And here's the big shocker. This little water problem in Mississippi has been going on for decades. This isn't just a recent thing. But the only reason you're hearing about it now is because it's made national news.
Yeah.
But he's given back in so many ways that nobody in decades at Jackson State has. But the good thing is he has laid out a blueprint for whoever is following him to take on and keep this thing going. Question now is, does the administration, the boosters, the coach, the city of Jackson take that blueprint and say, you know what, we're proud of this program and we're going to keep it relevant. We're going to stick to this, or is it going back to what it was before?
There was no thank you, Prime, Coach Prime. It wasn't a thank you. It was like, and then did you see that song they played at the game? If you want to leave, baby, go ahead and walk out like that. I was like, what kind of mess? Like, that's, oh my God, man. It's like he gave them a sense of entitlement that they really didn't deserve to have in the first place.
I'm kudos to Coach Prime. Happy for him, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't talked about Colorado since the 1990s, since what? Cordell Stewart,
Rashawn Salam.
Yeah, through that pass versus Michigan since the slash.
Man, that throw, that 65 yards in the air throw was unreal. 70 yards, he threw it.
Bro, I hadn't talked. I think Deion's at a good place. I think he's going to change the culture, and I think, a lot of people say, "Oh, he's not going to be able to bring talent to Colorado." Ooh. I'm like, shit.
Man, you can bring talent to Nebraska.
I'm like, if anything, to me, this just shows you Auburn don't know what they're doing. B, Auburn should have hired a Cadillac if they had the opportunity to, but we know how that goes. B, now I know Lincoln Riley, try to get away from the SEC and competition. Now Deion in the Pac-12 is going to really put a lot of heat, on Lincoln Riley as far
until he leaves for the Big Ten.
Yeah, getting talent. I think I think you're gonna see Colorado. I think they're probably gonna take the trajectory of like a Utah, a physical team that always gets guys to play over and beyond their talent. They're in a good system. So I really do see Colorado making noise in the Pac-12, and with the leadership of Deion. I mean, you looked at some of his staff already. Deion's looking to change the culture, it's exciting. What are you gonna say, Chris?
Old statement, speaking of Lincoln Riley, within the next 3 years, he's gonna be he's gonna jump ship, go to the NFL.
Yeah, I believe it.
I believe it. But yeah, I'm the same with you guys. I got nothing but praise for Coach Prime. Thank him for what he was able to do for Jackson State and for those young men. He not only built a football team, he built men. He poured life into them. And that's why he was able to get a lot of these guys out of the transfer portal. He was able to get 3- and 4-star recruits because of, he can get them to the NFL. He can work with them and give them that step up. But what he's doing for them as young men is above and beyond. So I'm grateful for what he did there. I did see it firsthand being in that community. So, yeah, I hate that he left. I honestly thought he would be there another year or so, but he has this opportunity. You can't blame the man for taking this opportunity. So, but yeah, fellas, we've had a great show. It's kind of flew by. Now, before we kind of close up shop, if y'all would, tell the viewers what to expect next, what's going on with y'all, how they can find you on social media, all that good stuff.
Well, next, we're going to add a recruiting element as we get closer to signing day. We're going to dig deeper into recruiting and give you guys a heads up on, where we stand with a lot of prospects. It's still some 5 stars on the board, which this is going to be another probably number 1 class. And it's a lot of good info coming out. We're going to talk about this Houston game and what's coming up with that. Those other games with Gonzaga and Memphis, and we're gonna dig into this bowl season, the playoffs bowl. Just talk some more football. Yeah. Following the guys that are in the NFL, the Hurts. Shout out to Jalen Hurts.
MVP, baby. Yeah. To piggyback on Chris James, I think we really focus on. I think next week a lot more recruiting. It's getting close to that signing day. We're gonna bring Chris Brother on as kind of our final whistle lead recruiting analyst. We'll dive into some draft stuff, prospects. We kind of touch the surface a little bit today, but I think we're gonna focus on, like Chris said, basketball, and really Bama this bowl prep, versus Kansas State. And I'm always looking for, good OC, good coaches, and I'm always on the alert. So I think that's kind of where the next conversations are kind of going to go with, what does Saban do, especially on the offensive end. I think in the back of his mind, that he's probably think he can get a Pruitt back to Tuscaloosa, make him the co-D coordinator or whatever. But I think he knows his priority number 1's got to be the offense, I think that will just, I think if Garrett Riley sounds good, but somebody in the comments said, if you get a Garrett Riley, it's only going to be for about a year because everybody's going to want to hire him as a head coach. So that's why I say maybe you go for a smaller coach, a coach that's maybe, young. He's like,
get Lance Taylor, baby.
Like Lance Taylor or Tulane's offensive coordinator, or some of these MAC Aussies that are really just putting up gaudy numbers. It's some guys out there that I think you find out what they do well and how they can incorporate it in Alabama. I think that'll go a long way. So we'll be talking a lot more of that stuff on the final whistle next week. And thanks for joining in. We're excited. Justin, you got anything to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, if there's anything you want to see covered on this show right here, hit us up, the Bama Standard at gmail.com. Tell us what you want to talk about. If there's any guests you want to see, these 2 men played Bama Sci-Fi. They have guys they play with They had some dudes that you remember, you cheered for. Hey, DJ Hall, Keith Brown, a lot of those guys. So if there's somebody you want on this program, hey, we're even basketball, you name the sport. But listen, this is an all Bama, all sports show. There's not many out there. So we're here to provide it. Stay tuned to what we have going on with this channel. Again, this show is on every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You definitely want to tune into that. Starting tomorrow, every Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m., Bo Scarborough show will be on the Developmental Focus Point, hosted by Bo Scarborough, Trent Richardson, and Blake Sims. Pretty awesome lineup. Show up tomorrow night. Show him some support. And if you're watching the replay, I want you to leave a comment on anything we talked about tonight. Hit that like button before you head out, and also hit that subscribe button. But that's going to do it here for us. The final whistle. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide. Soccer update.
Yes,
Women's
sir.
soccer update.